Hey, what's going on? Antoine Dwayne Jones, CEO. We are here today on the campus of Barbascosa College to talk to El Presidente, brother Chris D. Ray J.D., president of Barbascosa College. So, man, come on in.
So in here is we had one of our presidents, Dr. Douglas, during COVID, when the population on campus shrunk. He ended up, because he had a lot of time on his hands, he ended up finding a lot of artifacts around the campus. And because we didn't have a standing museum, he just started putting a lot of these artifacts together.
Wow.
And so it just really kind of tells the story of Barbascosa College, of course, you know, us being the first institution founded in the South specifically for black women. It was an all-girls school in the 1800s. First school founded in the South to educate newly freed black female slaves.
Wow.
And so, I mean, you can see, I mean, some of the photos here, man, are just iconic. Just women that were in the early turn of the late 19th century. All of them sitting on the halls of Graves Hall was the first building that was built on campus in 1877. 1877 is still standing. And then the Residence Hall, Faith Hall, was built in 1890. Wow. And of course, you know, you have Mary McLeod Bethune, who is one of our most notable alum who graduated from here. And so when we think about like all of what she stood for, who she was, we want to believe that her love of faith, education, and her community was started right here,
or at least it was exacerbated.
Exactly, right. You know, the seeds were planted here. Her love of her community, her belief and understanding that we have an obligation to help the least of these. That was Barbascosa College, and that's what our training was.
Wow.
That was what our training was for, it still is today. And so when you think about just the transformational things that we're getting ready to do now, you know, you always, whenever you're a college president, you want to be a respecter of tradition and history of the struggle of why we exist today.
Right.
But you also want to keep an eye on the future,
right?
And understanding that there is a responsibility to make sure that we are able to change with the times. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited about what we're getting ready to do here at the institution, but I also know that I have to be, like, as they say, you know, somewhat of the keeper of our history. Absolutely. You know, so, you know, I don't know, I don't allow the pressure of it to weigh on my shoulders as much, right? But it does, right? Because you don't want to be the individual that, man, we lost this institution on my watch, right? Now, granted, we've stumbled. We've had our challenges. We have, we lost our accreditation 21 years ago, and it's been a tough 21 years.
Right.
It's been a tough 21 years, right? You're losing revenue. You lost students. You've lost your footing in the community, but the world goes on without you, right? And so, if we don't pull it together, this land, this property will be lost. So all of those women who walked these grounds, who prayed, who cried, who Barbascosa was there out of the fields.
Right.
You end up losing that. Right. And I can't let that happen.
So we have the history, we have the present, which is struggle but growth.
Right.
And then we have the future, and we've actually seen it. We've seen this done. Right. So there's hope in that as well.
That's right.
Because we've recently seen this done.
We've just recently seen it done.
So we know it's possible.
Yeah, we know it's possible. And that's what gives me hope. That's, I was very inspired by what took place down at Morris Brown College, right? And what Dr. Kevin James did to get that college back. And so, what they always said, if his ability showed hope.
Right.
And if hope exists just a little bit,
then
you can grow with that, right? And so when I took this job, I knew that it had been done before, so I know that it could be done again. Now our path, it will, will of course be a little bit different than Morris Brown, but the end state is still the same. That we will be an accredited institution again, and that we will be a place where students will come and prepare for their next chapter in their life. And not only just, when you think about students, you think about 18, 19-year-olds. I'm also excited about the students who have reached back out to me who graduated here, or didn't graduate 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
And they were like, I dropped out when we didn't have any money, or I got pregnant, or life be lifing.
Life,
Life.
Right.
And so, but they never had an opportunity to finish their degree, but now we have an opportunity for them to do that. So, so it's not just about the young people, it's about individuals who realize that I don't want to close my eyes without finishing something that I started. And I want to finish at the school that I started at, which was Barbara Scotia College.
So I have a question, because, HBCU, being an HBCU graduate or a person that's attended the HBCU means something. How has the alumni base been a part or surfaced since you've been in office?
Yeah, so I will say that the reason why the school has not closed is because of the alumni. And had the alumni had given up on Barbara Scotia, I wouldn't be sitting here. There's no question about it. They were the ones that said, I'm not going to let my college die. So what does that tell you? That meant that this space left an indelible mark on their life, to where they gave of their time, their treasure, their talent, to make sure that we do not allow this opportunity, we not allow this college to end. And what is even more exciting is the fact that it tells the story of why we, as a people, love our historically black colleges and universities, right?
But I don't think everybody understands that when you look at the nature of HBCUs. Like for me, I went to a predominantly white school from K to 12. So when I stepped up onto an HBCU campus, that realization hit, like, this may be the only time where you're in the majority every day.
That's right. Well, yeah.
Every day.
Absolutely.
So that heritage, that togetherness, that bonding, all those experiences that you could look across the aisle, look to the next chair over in the mess hall, whatever you want, and see the same faces and understand they have the same ultimate goal in hand is powerful.
It's, and some people will call it, hey, that strong sense of self, right? But self, when you say sense of self, we're not talking about self you.
Right.
We're talking about self you seeing us, right?
Right.
And being able to be in a space where you're able to see us at every economic rung, right? Every intellectual rung, every social economic rung. You can see it. You see the students who roll up, whose family has done very well, and those who are just like, I just got dropped off. I had $35 in my pocket,
right,
and that's it. And my mom and dad said, "We got you to school. Good luck.
Figure it out."
Figure it out. I've met students here, former students here, who was like, when I came, I had $35 in my pocket, and then I met students who say I'm a retired surgeon, or my family, did very well, and this was a part of our legacy. I'm the third generation, Scotiaite that came, to Barbara Scotia because of X, Y, and Z. So, but it's just like this culture. It's like a reminder of who we are, right? And so I love what you said about, we grew up in a society where, there's nothing wrong with being with folks that look like other races.
Right.
We don't want to say that. I think where our challenge comes in is when there are specific individuals who wake up in the morning who want to say that, hey, my race is more superior than yours.
Right.
And so you have created systems that remind me every day that your race is more superior than mine. I don't want that. I don't want to live nowhere like that. And so the HBCU world creates an ecosystem that reminds us that no matter what space you're in, you matter.
Right.
Right? Because
you chip away at the human psyche, and it's studies on this, right? You chip away when you don't, if you're not reminded of having a strong sense of, you know, who you are, who your culture is, who your history, you know, what's your historical background. It's a real thing, and some of the most not nice people throughout history have used those types of tactics to enslave people, to enslave whole cultures, and take away that self-worth by saying that, you know, you're not like me, and so therefore you should, you know, be more inferior.
Right. So we got this going. This is amazing history. I mean, you feel the energy, and I feel your passion about how this thing is going to grow. So where are we going to be off to next? What are you going to show us next?
Oh, so I want to take you guys over to Faith Hall, and it's a regular residence hall, right? But it's the story behind Faith, and I love the fact that it's called Faith Hall. Faith has been a big part of Barber Scotia's beginning, our survival, and what our future will be, right? In the beginning, we say here, in the beginning, faith, right? Because it took faith to start a college in Concord, North Carolina, a few years after, you know, the Civil War, right. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and then you're saying, I'm going to educate black women, I'm going to pull them out of the fields, and I'm going to create a new day for them. That's faith, you know, based off of Luke Dorland, who was the first president of the college and the Presbyterian minister who came and started the college, right? Then it's been faith that has sustained us through these trying chapters of our existence, right? Right. Our alumni, and also people in our community who really believe that, hey man, this could be better, right? If we just got to get back to it, and our alumni holding on. And then there's the faith of the future, of knowing that we're going to be accredited again, that everything that we've been doing to lay the groundwork for what this is going to be. And so on August 22nd, you know, we're going to be welcoming the first group of students back to campus in almost a decade. That's a big deal. Big deal. That's a big deal, right? And they will all be staying in Faith Hall, right? Right. And so just kind of want to. Faith Hall was built in 1890, and you know, it just represents everything of where we are trying to go as an institution. And you know, we walk these, as I call them, these hallowed grounds, right. Where I know that there were people who stopped, prayed, you know, cried. There were students that I know walked across this campus, didn't know if they were going to graduate. There were students who walked across this campus who was excited about whatever the next chapter was. There were students who walked across this campus who had to leave, knowing that they would probably never come back because their family couldn't afford for them to come back. There is so much, right, that has happened on these grounds, right? And I walk it all the time, you know. So when you talk about, man, the ancestors talking to you, I believe that. Right. They talk to me. They say, hey, keep going. You got to feel it. You know, you keep going. You're talking about 158 years of blood, sweat, and tears on this land.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Investo QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in due fall.
Our final score from Lewis Cruz Stadium on the campus of Alabama A&M University. Alabama A&M 34, Southern 14. And Ron, as we get ready to go through some of these stats and we look at, for me personally, I'm really impressed by the performance of Deontay Mason, sophomore quarterback. Coach Jones told us coming into the ball game that he needed to see some consistency and some leadership from Mason, and I think his 4 touchdown passes, his poise, composure, really showed that today.
I mean, he stepped up. He played a great game in it, and the most important thing that Coach Jones wanted to say is who can protect the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Mason played a game. He was not hurried or rushed that much. 1 or 2 times in the second half. On the other side of the ball, the Jaguars could never set their feet. All of their quarterbacks were running. They got hurried out of the pocket. They rushed the throws, couldn't set their feet. And as translation, you can't convert first downs. You can't put points on the board. But I think one of the most compelling things that stand out in this game, Southern gave up 193 yards in penalties.
Wow.
I mean, that is a big stat in itself. I mean, when you circle that, that's taking points off the board. I mean,
and both teams committed 11 penalties, but when you commit 90 more than your opponent, what we're talking about are those 15-yard killers. And I can't do the quick math right now, but that's probably at least about 5 or 6 extra 15-yard penalties. Well, maybe not 5. Yeah, maybe 5 or 6.
Not sure.
Look.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, now you're hearing
Wow.
us. See,
Now you're hearing us, so now I get
trying
to do
play
that.
host and producer at the same time. It can be a bit challenging.
It can, and the producer had to go move the car. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BCSN GameTime Show. We are live here from the Orange Blossom Classic, Hard Rock Stadium, the home of my Miami Dolphins. Turn that on. I'm going to have to catch that in a few minutes.
Pre-season
First show.
Those award shows.
We're live. See,
all kind of
this
things.
is what happened.
There's no
See,
cutting
Kirk
editing.
Street doesn't do this on ESPN.
No, he doesn't.
You don't get this kind of
This is
stuff.
Mitch. Mitch is going to do that. He's live on his format.
He's live on his format.
While we're doing this live.
Right, we're doing this live, Ron.
Right.
Anyway.
So like we're really live. So, but what we were saying is that the clip you guys saw was the first BCSN broadcast of a SWAC football game. We were at Alabama A&M, Southern versus Alabama A&M. Man, what memories do you two guys have of that?
I think the road trips in general. We saw a lot of people. We met a lot of good fans along the way, and we saw a lot of good football because if I'm correct, along the way we saw a friend of mine, Mike Jones. He was coaching.
Just kidding.
There you go. You always got to back it up.
You always got to do that. When everybody's saying Mike Jones, you got to go, who?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Alabama A&M, I was amazed by that campus.
The facilities of the football stadium were nice.
Oh, my God. That was beautiful.
Still is nice.
And this was like I said, this was almost 20 years ago.
Was it 20 years ago?
Almost.
Wow.
Almost. But, yeah, we are live here at the Fan Fest for the Orange Blossom Classic. Of course, that game is going to be Florida A&M versus Howard University. We will have a live audio broadcast of that after this game, of course, after this show, Carlos, and then we will have the live broadcast starting at 4 p.m.
Kickoff is 4. Probably pregame will probably start around 3:30, 3:45 at the latest.
Yep, so we'll be getting ready for that. You'll hear these two gentlemen on that call again, back at it, doing what we were doing. Guys, listen, we're back now. Ron, you remember the Game Time show. I mean, let's talk about the last full official one that you were involved in was the 25th anniversary of what was the Atlanta Football Classic back in the day. Brian didn't show that, but that was me, you, and Kofi.
That classic was one of the best, I think, that brought a lot of fans together because you had that Tennessee State factor, and then you have this Florida A&M phenomenon always, and it was always easy driving distance for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Every year,
I think that's why people still reminisce about it, talk about it, and crave to have it back.
Because the first couple of years they did it at Georgia Tech.
Yep.
They couldn't hold it. It almost looked like a million-man march of the people that were walking from the MARTA, trying to get to the stadium and found out they couldn't get in.
A little bit too uncomfortable for folks at Georgia Tech, probably.
And all of a sudden, when they moved it to the Georgia Dome,
woo!
I mean, think about it.
50,000 easily.
Well, listen, on bad years, when both teams were bad, they were still putting 50.
When were they ever bad?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
There were a couple of years that they were not doing well, but we were still putting 50,000 people in the stadium. That was a low year.
Yeah.
It was. I think inside games do very well.
Oh, for sure.
Especially with us, because we don't like the elements.
It's not too hot.
Let's be
you
real.
Can be seen. You can walk around, and it's comfortable.
It's
you don't have to worry about the heat and the rain.
Great atmosphere, great. You obviously had both bands that were going to be there and everything.
Right.
So, I mean, it still is talked about and revered for what it was during that period of time, and that's why so many people want to see Tennessee State and Florida A&M not only just play again, but play in that region, in that city.
Well,
right.
I mean, realistically, when you look at it, as Ron was alluding to, geographically, it is basically in the center. It's about 4.5 hours from both schools. So that puts us in the space where we can do different things and see different things happening. And that's the great part about why that works so well, because you get those home markets who are able to shoot in and drive in and do what they're going to do. And then listen, we know that Atlanta is probably the number one city at this point that sends students to FAMU. It is definitely one of the largest alumni bases for the school in the country.
Might be some cities in Florida that'll fight you on that.
Miami's the only one. Miami's the only one that can compare to what Atlanta has sent. Trust me, we were looking at it and we were doing that, so we know what that is.
What you say? I'll
I've already looked the information up. We know that.
You must know somebody in the alumni office.
Well, I know a few people.
Well, it's always somebody in the administration office. You going through these student credentials, checking for alumni.
I have no clue of what Rod is talking about at this point.
I don't
Well, you know, somebody's always been working in admin. That's where all the money gets messed up. Oh, I don't want to go into that.
Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't start.
Rod,
Don't start. Whoa, don't start there. Don't
You
start
got the ONG Strike Zone shirt on. We can't have you out here doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But listen, folks, some of the things that we're going to get into today, man, just to kind of get us riled up and ready to go for the season. We want to first thank Kendra Bullock and her team for getting us set up to be out here for the game,
Definitely.
for giving us the live broadcast. Kendra, love you. We're all in. So every year, you know, we're going to be helping to promote and get things together. Next year, we need to get set up so that we can get us a suite and do some contests throughout the front part of the basketball season to get some stuff. But we'll talk about all that later.
I'll leave that up to you, Mr. CEO.
We'll get
I'm
into
just
that
a
a little bit
broadcaster,
later.
producer. That's it. You know, don't ask me to do the marketing and promotions and acquisition of suites. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Look at this guy.
I'm not that guy.
So we can have a raffle, you know.
Well, we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Well, we'll have a raffle. They can spend 24
we had
hours.
a couple. You know, we had a
You
couple.
can spend 5 hours with us at night.
No, don't do that.
Okay, so
That's a heck of a contest. Now,
Yes.
that might be a great adventure for
Yes.
somebody.
Yes.
That might be kind
Yes.
of fun to do that.
listen, we got a lot of stuff actually that will be coming up that we're going to be getting ready for getting to the Celebration Bowl. So listen, we might be able to start some of that early. But today what we're going to get into, besides talking to you about what's going on in HBCU football, how things are playing out, talk about a couple of the games that happened this past few days, getting things going. But what we want to do, one of the things that we will be doing throughout this episode of the Game Time Show is talking to you about the shows that make up the BCSN Pod Zone. Well, you may ask, why are we talking to you about the shows that make up the BCSN Pod Zone? Well, that would be because a million podcasts ranked the Black College Sports Network Pod Zone the #1 black sports pod zone on the net. Killing it. We were like shocked and amazed and thankful because we do what we do because we love it. And we're out there doing it. But we're going to be showing you different clips from some of the different shows that are out there and getting some things going. And let's do this then. Let's go ahead because our producer is now back. Ja, what's in the building? How you doing,
Shout out to Ja, the youngest
man.
legs, most energy of the production crew. Thank God for Ja.
That's what 22 does for you.
Well,
Make sure to follow at Ja Sports on IG. He does a great job. I mean, make sure you follow him at JAH Sports on IG. Make sure you follow. If you're not following, you're missing out on some great content.
Missing out on some good stuff. I believe that
I'm in a load management phase of my career, and I appreciate you going to park my car. Yes. Ladies, it was probably had to get an Uber back to the stage. The parking lot is so far away. Yes.
John, do we have the sports rap video or do you see the Carlos video in there? We're going to go. Which one of those do you see in there? Look down in the present area. They might be down there as well.
Yeah, you know we're going live. We're not going to do
No, he's live. It's
pause.
not in there. Well, I
Yes.
actually put it in there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to commercial, but when we come back, we will come back with the Carlos Brown clip, talk to you about Carlos Brown. You'll actually be able to catch Carlos live at noon Eastern immediately following what we do here. But let's go ahead and go to a break. We'll come back, and we will have that Carlos Brown clip for you. You're watching the BCSN Game Time Show live from the Orange Blossom Classic.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
ESPN Events presents presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
Okay, well, don't worry about the bumper. We're back in. So what we're going to do, again, folks, this is live TV. We're getting things in, getting stuff moving for you. Yeah, yes, Kelvin, we're live now. another one of the ONG members who's here at the game, Kelvin Rozier, my dude. So what we're going to do now, we're going to talk about another one of the shows that's on the BCSN Pod Zone. Young lady by the name of Sonia Stamps. All of those of you who are in Jackson know the family doing her thing, but she has She Say Sports. Sonia does a great job with different things, different interviews, definitely focusing on a lot of the women who are in the sports realm. She's had some great folks on. So we're going to go to a clip of her show. You check it out. You can check her out live 9 o'clock a.m. every Friday here on the BCSN TV station, Urban Digital TV. And I'm getting there. And you also check her out on She Say Sports on YouTube. Make sure you check her out. But all that will show up. Let's go to the clip.
You know, I've had a collegiate basketball player who was struggling at the time with life. I'll say he had a very hard time transitioning from a certain lifestyle in his neighborhood, and then going to collegiate where he cannot do those things or he loses a scholarship, right? And then he also has people who, when he was back at home, were his support in his mind, right? Not recognizing that they necessarily weren't a healthy support system, but they were. He had a hard time leaving that lifestyle behind because he felt like he didn't want to be looked at or portrayed as I'm too good now, or I'm going to
sell out, or I'm better.
Right. And so when he would go home for visits during, college holidays or breaks, he would come back and the coach would say, like, he's
encountering. At AutoMasters, we offer a hand-picked selection of used and certified pre-owned vehicles priced right and ready to drive. With easy financing and expert service, AutoMasters is your trusted dealership for test drive with keys in hand. AutoMasters, driven by trust, powered by service. Visit our website at automasters06.com or stop by today. Kendo, tell them Sonia sent you. Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
All right, everybody. Again, that is Sonia Stamps with She Say Sports. So please make sure you go follow her, check out the show. She puts it out every Friday. She runs clips like that every day of the week to keep you abreast of what's going on. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun, man. Like I said, she does a great job. And again, one of the shows that makes up the BCSN Pod Zone. So you're able to go do that. The #1 Black sports podcast in the nation.
Throwing a little assist to her.
On that list of above William Roden from ESPN, Bomani Jones, Swagoo.
A lot of guys who have worked for the 4-letter networks and 3-letter networks.
Yeah,
and
man.
Things like that. So
And they say we are the best.
Sometimes it's a word puzzle. These 3-letter words or the 4-letter words. You got to put it all together.
It's a great compliment to the work that everybody's been putting in, and just being able to put an aggregate of all the shows in one place. That was sort of the envisionment when we put together the BCSN Pod Zone, to give people one place to go, and we fortunately have been able to turn out shows and run shows on a consistent basis. So shout out to everybody, Sonia, Charles Edmond, who's been part of it, of course, Dr. Cavill, and the professors, and Carlos and the O&G guys. Of course, Drew and I have been a part of it. So a great group. It's kind of, it's some good work, but I know that everyone is enjoying it. Make sure you're following the BCSN Pod Zone on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple and Google Podcasts, everywhere that you listen and download podcast. That's BCSN Pod Zone. Go download, go rate, review, subscribe. Helps the algorithm. Appreciate you.
Especially Drew's been doing a good job, too.
Yeah. So you can tell the stuff he's really deeply involved with, right?
Right.
When he's talking, he was able to
look. If I don't promote it, I'm just gonna stop there.
I mean, and I'll say a testament. We have a lot of great producers that put their time.
Sure. Yeah.
People behind the scenes. I'm gonna say we're stage talent, but there's so many people, just like a tree. You got so many people behind the scenes that are putting a lot of effort, sweat, and equity into this, and it's good to see everybody getting their stuff out.
Drew, David.
Shout out to them again.
Mel.
Yes.
I definitely got to shout out Mel. She handles a lot of the stuff that we got going on. So, yeah, man, it's always been a team. It's always been a group of people coming together for a common thing, and that's the biggest thing. We all do this because we love it. And we're going to continue to do it because we live, breathe, eat, and sleep HBCU sports. So we're going to continue doing that. Actually got a text and said, hey, what's that behind you? And I don't know if we got any comments. Please put the comments up. We definitely want to talk to people. Well, I'm going to stand up so you can see a little bit more of it. But, folks, this is our promotion for the Zora Neale Hurston Festival that happens in Eatonville, Florida, the last weekend of January every year. This is the oldest black cultural festival in the country. Going into year 36 this year, we are back to Ron, you'll remember this, we are back on the school grounds with the festival this year, so it's going to be bigger and better. When this was on the school grounds before, there were literally years that we had 50 to 60,000 people coming through the town of Eatonville. I know one of those years was the year that Kim came, and I believe one of the other ones was as a music act.
You had a lot of great talent.
At the time.
A lot of great talent.
Great stuff.
You got to never forget, it's 1887. All the people of Eatonville, it was established in 1887.
It's a beautiful year.
The oldest incorporated black municipality in the country, and also the year that
I made
Florida A&M University.
That's something
you
I
made
know.
the production meet.
Yes.
Way to tie it together. Look at that. Boom.
Yes.
Way to tie it together. Exactly.
Yes.
What a heck of a year.
So we're going to give you, the website is zorafestival.org. John, you can type that and put it into the comments. Let folks check it out. zorafestival.org. Please go. Get the information, see what's on, sign up for the different things. We'll be putting information out about vendors really soon that you'll be able to do that. Oh, the food. We are back with the food
guys,
village
Barbecue
this year.
Boys, Fred Adams.
And
the
beautiful thing about where it's located and being on that field, if you're ever up on I-4 in Orlando or Florida, coming maybe from Daytona Beach or passing through one way or going maybe to Disney, you'll see Eatonville
It's
right
there.
off the interstate. So when the festival's happening, and it's when I mean happening, you can see the festival right off the road. And it makes you want to be like, yo, let me get off the exit and see what's going on there. So it's good to see that it's going to be back in a visible location where people off the highway can see it.
And if if you want a barbecue, you need to get at me. I'm the vending coordinator, so we can get
also,
it
we got to give a shout out. It's the home of Deacon Jones.
That's right. Also the home of Deacon Jones.
You got a little Deacon Jones Street. that's
It
over
is.
there.
Look, see?
Yeah, they have a
Little known black history fact.
I mean to tell you, I'm dropping these tidbits.
All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do next. A new segment that'll be coming on and soon to be a new show on the BCSN network is going to be some from our guy Ja. We're cracking him up, pumping him up. He has just done an interview with the quarterback from Kentucky State who's out doing some stuff, getting in. Is he a transfer? No, he's a third year. That's what it was. He's third year, somebody who's been there. We know the coach was, as we've seen him in
I got a couple former students from my high school that are playing at Kentucky State.
Okay. Well, this is their quarterback.
All right.
Ja had the opportunity to sit down and talk to the young man and see what was going on. We're going to let you check out that interview. Then we're going to come back, talk a little bit of the D2 stuff and some things going on. I'm probably going to actually let Ja even sit over here and lead you guys on that because he's the one.
We got to talk about those games from Thursday, though.
We will.
At some
We'll
point.
get to those.
Okay.
We will get to those.
I know that's what the people are itching to hear about.
That's what the people are itching to hear about.
I'm just trying to sell.
And we've got to. That's where that other clip was from. Correct. All right, then. So we'll do that next because Ja did that too. Right now, Ja with Denham Johnson, Kentucky State quarterback.
Ja from Just Ja Sports, and I'm here with Kentucky State quarterback Denham Johnson. So, man, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Denham Johnson, Kentucky State quarterback. I'm going in my third year here at Kentucky State. Man, I'm just excited. I'm ready to go.
I want to start off with this one. As you said, you told me before that you feel like you were underrated quarterback in this conference. So beyond the stats, what do you think is the biggest part of your game or leadership that gets overlooked by others outside?
I would say just leadership by example. Not everybody has the vocal piece or the vocal standpoint. But, I mean, when you walk in the field house or you walk in the weight room or the meeting rooms or anything, football related with the team, it should be an example set by your leader or your quarterback or whoever y'all say the guy is. And so I think that's just something that's undeniable with me. And I always want my teammates to gravitate towards my positive energy. So everything is flowing right. And then I'll say, another thing that I feel, might just go a little unnoticed is that I only had one turnover last year. That's not done everywhere. I mean, it's some people that's probably done that before in this conference, but I mean, to only throw one interception the whole season is, it's kind of crazy. I'm not to get into stats, but completion percentage was high. I'm just smart. Now I was at a game, reading defenses, just a lot of things come with it that I feel like, I slip under the radar a little bit. A lot of it is probably my size or just, Kentucky State not being on the winning side so much, even though we've been improving since I've been here. But it's just a couple of things that I feel like, might slide under the rug that, it shouldn't.
Looking back, what do you think was the biggest key, like a practice, a meeting, or a specific play that flipped the switch for the team after the tough start?
I would say, after that loss to Albany State, that was our fifth loss, and then we had that heartbreaking loss to Morehouse in the Chicago Classic. Something just kind of clicked to us, and we had a meeting with, Coach Huggins, and he was like, everything else is on y'all now. It's like, do y'all want to win? Like, do y'all want to make the sacrifices and make the changes in order to, flip the program around? And from that practice forward, that first practice going into week 6, it was just a change. You could see everybody's focus and energy was up. It was different. Something about us the first 5 weeks, it seemed like we were just there just to say that we were playing football. And then, as we got into, that homecoming win and kept going forward, you could see the progress that we were making and the change that shifted for that team.
Can you talk about a teammate on offense whose performance was essential to your personal success and the team's turnaround?
I would say Jaden Hill. That's a pretty common one. Everybody knows that one. Jaden he's just a ball player. He's going to be where he needs to be. And as long as you get the ball in his hands, he's going to do the rest for you. And he's just smart. He's also knowledgeable of the game. He also knows how to recognize coverage, recognize defense, just know where he's supposed to be at, whether he got to sit, whether he got extended his routes, just a lot of stuff that, receivers should know. He really takes pride in some of those things, and, that's what makes him a highlight player. And then, going into this year, me and him just really got on the chemistry level during the spring was to where, like, hey, like, if you see this and I see this, like, we ain't even got to say it. We should already know what we should be doing. And so I feel like it's gonna be a good year for me and him, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Finishing strong creates mass momentum going to the offseason. And how do you think that success has changed the standard and the energy within the program?
You just don't want to start. You don't want to start the season off with a loss at all. I mean, that's the number one momentum killer right there. And so just coming off the end of that season, going 5-1, and going into spring practice, like every practice that we had, those 15 practices, we were very intentional on leaving off or picking up where we left off that last season. And so coming into fall camp, that's kind of just been our motto is like, we don't want to start that season like that again. Like that's a non-negotiable. We gotta come out, we gotta handle business week one, and then take it a game at a time from there. But definitely ended off that season 5-1, and going into the spring, we were really locked in and eyes on the goal, and that's a side championship.
For those who haven't been paying attention, what should they expect from you and this team as the quarterback next year?
I think a high powered offense that's that's gonna move around, line up flat, line up fast, and we're just gonna try to mow you down. We picked up some good guys on the O line. A good O line coach. He's pushing our guys. He even pushes me to my limits, and that's something I think that I also need a little bit more of too. And then we got playmakers. Like if we just get our guys the ball, they're gonna be special. They're gonna be doing a lot. And so I think the offense is gonna be high powered, and not even just offense, our defense, man. Just going against them every day. They fly around, they make plays. There's a lot of back and forth between us. And so when you have practices like that, and ups and downs are flowing between both sides of the ball, you recognize that you got a pretty good team. So I they should expect a lot from us. They should expect more improvement. Since I've been here, we went 3-7 my freshman year, and then last year we finished 5-6. So definitely hoping and looking forward to a better season than that.
How does the experience of last year's turnaround provide a blueprint for handling the adversity on the way to the goal of this season?
That it showed just the athletes at this school. That's not even just football. Honest, if I'm being honest, it showed a lot of people counted us out after starting on 5. Like you don't expect the team to win any games after that. So just everybody seeing how we just won back to back to back to back to back after that. I think it kind of just like it said like it was an eye opener for the school, and for some of the players on my team. Actually, like it probably woke them up and was like, hey, like we actually can do this. Like we can get this done, and if we say we want to get it done, if we just put the work in, put the time into what we say we want. But I think that was the blueprint. Like that alone, just that the shift in the season was big. Like that was what needed, because honestly, who knows what would have happened as far as coaching staff goes, and players, if that shift in that season doesn't happen.
Where would you rank yourself amongst the quarterbacks in the conference?
Going off of last year, I honestly feel like I should have been in that top 3 category. I pay high respects to Isaiah Knowles, that's my guy, and David Wright. I paid respect to him when he was at Allen my freshman year. He was nice. But after that, I mean, when you compare, if you're just going off numbers and comparing stats, you can see whose completion percentage is the highest. You can see who has the least amount of turnovers. It's just anything. There's so much stats that you can go look at and see how I match up with those guys that they got over me, and it's just clearly like disrespect. And this year, I'm not big into rankings or preseason anythings or where they put people at, but there's some quarterbacks that I outplayed by a long shot last year that they have over me this year. And so, it's just kind of confusing. So for me, I would say I'm one of the best in this conference, honestly. I'm smart. I know to go to football. I don't turn it over. I get my guys involved. And that's really all you can ask for out of your guys. So for me, I always feel like I'm the best, but I also do pay my respects and acknowledgement to the other guys that handle business in the conference as well.
How hard did Kentucky hit the portal, and who do you think is going to be the most exciting addition to the team?
We hit the portal hard, man. We went and got the pieces that we needed, and I feel like that was most valuable to us. I mean, we needed some big guys up front on both sides of the ball, and we needed a couple skill players, a couple guys to fire on defense. Some playmakers on offense. Man, I'm most excited about John McCall. He had played at McNeese, played at University of Louisiana. Nice size receiver, man. He gets it done, and he's gonna be a nightmare for a lot of DBs in this conference. I can tell you that much. Him and Jaden on the same side is gonna be kind of scary. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and everybody else should be too.
I'm not gonna lie, man. There's been some trash talk from Central State coming up for the Detroit Classic, man. So I know that's gonna be a big game. How you feeling about that one?
I ain't got nothing to say about Central State, man. I ain't got nothing to say to them. Saturday coming real soon, and everybody got to put their pads on, and walk into Detroit at the same time at 1:00 on Saturday. So I hope everything that they saying, what happened last year in November, I hope they fueled off of that, because they're gonna need that. They're gonna need that.
Okay, man. I really appreciate you giving out some time for this, man. It was really good talking to you, dude.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it for having me.
All righty, there it is. We're clear. Denham Johnson, quarterback for Kentucky State, in one of the games today. They're playing Central State, if I'm not mistaken. Today, you'll see that in the scoreboard billboard setup later when we flash the games and just kind of talk to you what's going on. This is the first game of the season for most of these teams, so we really don't have a lot to talk about. But we can get into some of the conversations about a few of the games, since Brian just really wants to talk about some of the games that happened in the past couple of days. I guess we do that kind of thing, right? We do?
That's what they say.
Are we going to start with Andrew Body?
We have to.
We have to?
We have to.
I knew that's where he wanted to go. So let's talk about Andrew Body's performance in a loss to, what was that, UAB? UAB. It was a loss, but now, Alabama State fans, I'm letting you know, there is a reason I said, yes, it's a loss, but this is the Andrew Body that everybody was expecting to see at Alabama State, if I'm not mistaken, Brian.
This is what everyone's expected to see in this building a year ago.
Yeah.
Just going to leave it there. I'm just going to stop, because it didn't start with Andrew Body last year. It unfortunately ended with an injury, and their whole season, in my opinion, was changed.
Yeah.
But this is the Andrew Body. 18 of 24 passing. That's 75% for those of you who are not, it's the weekend and you're not doing math real quick. That's pretty good for a quarterback, would you say?
It is.
312 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. But that's not all. Wait, there's more. 119 rushing yards on 16 carries. That's 7.4 yards per carry and a rushing touchdown. So let's do the total. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. That's 5 total touchdowns that Andrew Body accounted for. And just quick math, over 420 total yards of offense. That against a Division I FBS opponent, that's a heck of a day. Probably made Trent Dilfer over at UAB do a lot of sweating on the sideline.
Right.
That's a heck of a performance. I don't know what anyone else is going to do today, but player of the week, Andrew Body's in the clubhouse sitting there like Joe Burrow, sitting there smoking a cigar, chilling right now, because that's a hell of a performance, period.
Against the D1 opponent.
Against the D1 opponent, yes.
And so here's the thing that we talked about. And, folks, you may hear some of the stuff in the background. Of course, again, they are getting ready for the Fan Fest here at the Orange Blossom Classic. This will kick off at noon. At that point, we'll be getting ready to head into the studio for our broadcast at the game, but just getting things ready. Brian, a lot of people were expecting Alabama State to take that next step last year. Last year, though, they had not just one injury to a quarterback, but they ended up having multiple injuries.
Yeah.
Ended up having a kid who was playing receiver who played quarterback in high school take over
It's
as
the
the
easy
quarterback.
transition for some guys.
Right.
But when you are drafted, recruited as a wideout, and you lose your top two quarterbacks, it throws the whole outlook of the season. It's the potluck.
It was 2 in the first game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you just go and put the best athlete there, and you just hoping and wishing. And the whole transition of your passing game, what are you going to do? Because you're going to lose a good wideout. Now, the elements of your game completely off. But it's college football. That's the beauty of it.
And Alabama State still finished second in the SWAC, tied for second in the SWAC. So, I know Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. gets a lot of heat because Alabama State has yet to get over. I mean, look, the two teams in front of him, for the last 4 years, Jackson State and Florida A&M have sort of owned the East, but right behind them has been Alabama State, and a couple times they beat Jackson State one time, haven't beaten FAMU, but they've been knocking on the door every year. So, I don't know. I don't want to get into saying, could this be the year? But I know if I'm an Alabama State Hornet fan, I'm very, very excited, and I'm continually praying over Andrew Body in health. Because if Andrew Body is healthy, Alabama State is a contender.
Dude, no, they are a certified problem.
Well, it depends on for who. A problem for who?
For all their opponents.
Okay,
is what it is.
Then you got to look at the only way you can put up stats. You got to have a line that blocks. Because if you're on your back or you're running for your life, it's hard to set your feet, get the ball up the field. He accounted for a lot of offense.
He did.
But then you got to say, we got some good blocking, and everybody's doing their part. And he's an it factor guy.
Had the opportunity to talk to Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. at BuzzFest this year.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he talked about. Everybody's talking about our quarterbacks, but we've got a complete team.
Oh, sure.
They are looking forward to being able to showing the SWAC what they are truly capable of when healthy. Because, listen, everybody can deal with injuries at some point, and it can, as we see, it can derail your season.
You got to say, Jackson State has had the smoke these last couple of years.
Yeah.
If you want to make it to the league, on the heels of what Coach Prime had done, and then when you look at the Florida A&M, always a long tradition of still being the crown jewel of the South when it comes to everything, from fashion to football to the band.
And that's a Missouri guy saying that to y'all about FAMU.
He's a Florida guy.
He's a Florida guy, but listen, let's be real. As we've said it before, family went to Tennessee State, so he's a non-biased person saying that. We just want to make sure you understand that.
Everyone's going nuts, y'all Rattlers being what you are.
Rattlers.
Rattlers being Rattlers.
Hey, I grew up with this. Say this one's Blossom Classic. My parents used to come to this game. I got dropped off all the time. I got dropped off, and I wanted to go, told my mom, I want to go to Miami, because she was always saying she was going to Miami. So I didn't know. So that was, that's showing I was a smart kid. I was picking up on Miami. So I was like, Mom, when are you going to take me to Miami? So they had to explain to me it was Miami.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
So, but long-time FAMU guy. When we stayed at the Travel Lodge, I thought that was like the W or the Marriott. In Tallahassee, yes,
back in the day.
And we stayed upstairs on the second floor, up the steps. It wasn't an elevator, but, we ran wild those days,
Listen, that's great. We had that, but Mr. Body, we wish you the best this year.
Yes.
Coach Rob, we rooting for you, man. We love what you're doing over there.
And let me add.
Can't make the club in the tub.
Can't
make the club in the tub.
They gave up 52 points, but again, you're giving up that amount of points to
an FBS
opponent. Dilfer and that UAB team, they're going to try to put up points. But the fact that you can match it with 42 of your own. They covered a 21.5-point spread, stayed within a touchdown and a field goal. That's a great debut to open the season. I don't care how you put it, because people are thinking you're going to get beat by 3 touchdowns. and you covered expectations. So now everything is in front of Alabama State here as they start to move forward into game 2, 3, and on.
There you go. So that's our D1 quarterback sitting in the clubhouse, waiting to see what everybody else does on Saturday to see who's going to be the offensive player of the week going. There's a young man in D2 from Virginia State. We're going to get some highlights from the quarterback of Virginia State here. And he had himself a pretty impressive Thursday night game. Go ahead with the highlights, Ja. I want to say, and the young man's name is. We're pulling the clip up. Ja wanted to get this was Ja's clip now, so we go rag on him a little.
Receivers to his left, one to his right. Takes the snap, play action fake, looking deep, rolling out to his left. He's going to heave it down the field. He's got a wide open receiver. It's touchdown, and it's going to be a touchdown for Virginia State. A 58-yard touchdown.
Kevin Gales.
Yeah, Kevin Gales, the redshirt junior from Richmond, a transfer from Norfolk State, who Virginia State has to play next. Just got behind everybody, and he walked into the end zone for a touchdown. No Allen Winstead tonight. He'll tell you why. Matthews claps his hands, takes the snap, hands it to Rose. Did he break the plane to the goal line? He's down at the 1. No signal yet. Virginia State's, yes, touchdown. Rose, a right side carry, and just like BP said, right into the A gap right side, and he stretched the ball across the plane, and touchdown, Virginia State. Lined up. Matthews takes the snap, looking left, scanning, looking to the right, running out of time, rolling to the right, now rolling back to the left, fires into the back of the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Beautiful play to just stand up and make himself big in the back of the end zone. That's the backup running back, Rajon Hammond.
Great job by Rashawn Matthews not to let the play die, to keep moving his feet, looking downfield.
Owls and Jackson in motion, clap his hands and take the snap. Looking left, firing left, open man, it's underthrown and intercepted. Picked off by Virginia State's Donovan Howard, a free safety, redshirt junior from Danville, Virginia. And Al came all the way across the field to the left side, and the throw was late, had too much air under it. And Donovan came right over and snatched it out of the hands of the receiver. Running back off the right hip. It's a handoff up the middle. Touchdown. Virginia State. Brandon Rose pile drives his way into the end zone.
Rose is having a good game. He's really hitting the hole hard.
And knocking on the door again. Matthews, shotgun snap. Hands it off to Hammond. Stands up, barely touched. Waltzes his way into the end zone. Touchdown Trojans. And it's now 34-0 Virginia State.
Yeah, this is
kind of your worst fear has happened type game for the Bulldogs so far.
Yeah.
Here you go. Virginia State's quarterback, Mr. Rashawn Matthews. 21 to 27, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 47 yards rushing. Virginia State might be a problem.
Good. Oh, they're going to be a problem for Norfolk State next week. Big state, little state, that's a big rivalry. D2.
Yeah.
Can I call? Is it too early to call a prediction? Is it too early to call a D2 upset over Division One?
We'll leave it at that, and then we can talk about it next week before the game.
All right. Well, see, he would say that's a early tease, but let me just say, I'm putting you on notice, Norfolk State. I love Norfolk State. That's my parents' alma mater. But I'm putting y'all on upset notice. Be ready.
Wow.
Be ready.
Mr. Kevin Gales, the receiver, 6 receptions, 131 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, they shut this team out, didn't they?
35-7.
35-7.
So, I mean, but a good performance when you go on the road.
On the road
to open the season and play well. You know.
And you hold your opponent to 1 touchdown on their home field, which they were not expecting.
No.
I'm sure they were expecting Virginia State to come in here and walk away with an easy first win of the season.
569 yards of total offense by Virginia State. I mean, that's some good work. That's some good work on
they'll have more of a challenge this coming week.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Norfolk State will be a little more of a challenge.
Well,
but
they're D1.
But, well, sometimes does that really matter, you know? Yeah,
Everybody's saying that's
the
close.
gap is small. The gap is small because guys in Virginia State, they're not going to be intimidated. Look, they idolize Mike Vick just like guys over at Norfolk State. And trust me, they're going to say, oh,
you know, that whole Tidewater, when you start talking about Virginia Beach, Allen Iverson, that whole Hampton, Norfolk area, they pride themselves on being the best athletes because they'll list all of the great people that come out of Virginia, who's played football, you know. So when you look at it, that they're gonna have a little pop. So Virginia, you know, you look at all the quarterbacks besides Mike Vick.
There's some names out there.
It's a list of them. Plus what's our big boy that played for Buffalo? Defensive end.
Oh, Bruce.
There
Smith.
you go. Bruce Smith.
Yeah.
He's in that whole he's from that whole area. I know a bunch of guys that went to Virginia Tech, and they'll talk about how great football, and I'll say you can't compare it to the great state of Florida, but, you know, we still resonate being the best.
Yeah, they're probably Virginia guys are probably top 5. I mean, you know.
Yeah, we'll give them that.
We'll give them top 5.
Give them that.
You know, I give them top 5. You know, I mean, because obviously your top 3, you're always going to say Florida, California, Texas, and then the debate will happen with the next 2 in the top 5. And anybody that tells you California, Texas, and Florida ain't top 3, then just turn around and walk away from them because they don't know what they're
Plus, they're going to invite you to a crab boil. So, you know, you got to invite them to the cookout.
So let's talk about it. We will, of course, we don't release the BCSN rankings and polls until week 5. Dr. Gaville did do his. We will get into that a little bit later, bring it in, and see where Virginia State is in that mix. They're usually one of the teams that tries to be near the top, but we will see what Dr. Gaville inside the lab has. Ron, great segue, because you're talking about the crab boil. Makes you think about food and stuff in Louisiana. At least that's what I say.
Really?
So what does that mean? We're going to take a look at another one of the members of the BCSN Pod Zone. Mr. Carlos Brown, the Southern grad, who's out here doing his thing himself. Coach Van Petaway, A.D. Wheeler, and Tall Man Productions, our buddy Charles Edmonds. Every Saturday, 12 noon Eastern. Check them out right here on the BCSN and on Urban Digital TV. So let's go ahead and check out that clip of the Carlos Brown Show.
I got somebody in the chat room. You know, he loves to take shots. But he has a right to do that. You know who I'm talking about? EA. Look at what he says.
What did EA say?
18 million budget and taking the bus.
Oh,
Don't start, because I had a couple of Southern Night people ask me about that. I could care less. The most important thing is to get.
Ain't nothing wrong with that bus
game.
ride. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong with it at all. You slowing the roll. You know, it's that bonding time and things of that nature. Wasn't like they were going to the SWAC championship game and felt like they needed to get there like right now and get it settled in, get acclimated and all that sort of thing. So, you know, I thought it was the best way to travel, and the way they broke the trip up, I thought was strategic, that sort of thing. And like I said, hats off to Coach Graves. You know, I mean,
they did leave Thursday,
you don't
though,
spend
right?
money just because you got money.
They left Thursday.
Yeah, and they posted it on social
plenty
media.
of time.
Yeah.
Kids got a chance to get their legs back, get their feet up on them, that sort of thing. And, you know, the only other thing I would do, you know, and hopefully Coach Graves know this also, they're taking all the meals in the hotel, so you ain't got to travel around town trying to get to this restaurant, get to that restaurant, that sort of thing. And, you know, you're able to keep them all together, keep them right there, mindset, ready to play the game at 7:30.
Yeah. Yep.
Hell, the food's so good in Louisiana, you can package. They got companies that package that food and have it waiting there. But I'm sure they have a routine. And shame on you, EA. Shame on you, EA, because if it was FAMU in North Carolina Central, you're gonna tell me from Tallahassee to Atlanta they're gonna fly in. But I know, EA, you just like the people. I understand.
Ask EA if they flew to Valley last year.
Well, you know, Coach Petaway, I'm not getting into that.
Just add a little humor. Just add a little humor.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Hello, we are back. For those who are hearing the popping and the different sounds popping up in the background, as I stated, they are actually setting up. There's still folks setting up for the Fan Fest here at the Orange Blossom Classic. So you're going to hear people with hydraulic tools doing stuff. You're going to hear them testing the stage out. Big Pepsi stage over here behind us, got things going on and everything. I think we got somebody from the crew who we talked about a little bit earlier. AD Drew, I believe, is in there. He's actually at one of these D2 games. It's going to be coming up, of course. Morehouse versus, who's Morehouse playing again? Johnson C. Smith. I was just looking at that.
Okay.
We had the interrupt. So let's go ahead and get Drew in. Or did he run away? Okay, we get ready. We're getting him in. Mr. A.D. Drew. We'll see him here in a second. There he is, sitting in his hotel room. A.D. Drew, how you feeling, sir? Okay.
You talk about
your audio.
audio.
You talk about audio. Your audio is extremely low.
Let me go out for a second. Let me get my mic. Right back.
Okay, so yes, take him off the screen. He's gonna go get his microphone squared away, so we can get going. But again, let's talk about Carlos a little bit, man. Let's talk about that show. Carlos does a lot of great stuff. A lot of insight. Of course, again, he is a Southern graduate, and it loves Southern University.
Been covering Southern for almost two plus decades.
2+ decades,
Yeah.
doing a lot of things, and it's great listening to his show because you're getting the perspective of Coach Van Petaway, legendary
SWAC
veteran basketball coach. AD Wheeler Brown, who's been an AD at both D1 and
State
D2
and
levels.
North Carolina A&T.
Worked at FAMU, worked in Fort Valley, doing some stuff. Again, Charles Edmond, Grambling guy, but has been the voice of Alcorn for
Almost
long,
30 years.
Oh,
It's
right,
30 years.
Very long time, doing a lot of good work out there, man. And it's very informative, man. His show is, now listen, it really does get to be funny, though. Carlos' show is hilarious. When they get to arguing on some of this stuff, oh my God, it is nothing more than as you heard in that clip, he talks about EA. I think Carlos engages the fans. I'm gonna say it this way. To me, he engages the fans the best because Carlos will argue with people.
True.
Carlos don't mind getting in there arguing with you, and he gonna tell you when you're wrong, in his opinion. You know, he does some good stuff, man. So, you know, what do you think about what happens with Carlos?
No, what's always fun about when I have an opportunity to produce that show sometimes, the mix and the perspectives is what makes that show great. The fact that you have somebody in Carlos who, as a journalist, has covered Southern and the SWAC for over 20 years. Then you have another perspective of Charles Edmond, also a media perspective of 30 some odd years. And then you get the coaching aspect. And I know, even though Coach Van Petaway has coached basketball, I mean, obviously coaches know coaches.
Coaches know coaches. He's vested.
He is.
Knows the whole culture.
Knows the
some
culture
of the
in the
coaches
SWAC.
better than themselves.
Yes.
And even when they transition and go to another school, you already know what concept that they're bringing to a program.
Correct. And then that administrative field, which a lot of times we don't understand. A lot of times we react and get on social media and we talk about things from a fan perspective. The beautiful thing about Wheeler Brown, he is the reality of most arguments and conversations because he understands from an administrative level what schools can and can't do. And sometimes that's hard to swallow. We don't understand. Well, why can't we? Because you don't have the finances. Why can't we? Because y'all don't support. Why can't we? Because the university isn't in, and that's what's so great about that show is you get all those perspectives, and Carlos and the panel, they bring that nice little gumbo and they serve it up. And I'm telling you, man, it's a great Saturday show, noon Eastern, 11 Central, I love listening to those guys.
I still say those beignets are just powdered donuts. That's all it is. It's just powdered donuts. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that's what it was. What else is
Yeah,
it?
but I'm just saying, I don't see.
What else is it?
See the whole.
It's the water. See, the people. What I'm gonna say, what it always goes to is the water.
Okay.
Whatever a beignet is, it's about the water that makes the dough and the.
When your grandma
like
cooks
I
it in her pots and pans,
it ain't the same.
That's when you say it's going to be better. That cast iron skillet is going to be
right. It's the cast iron
hers
skillet.
is better than anybody else.
Exactly.
With your easy bake oven stuff at home.
Let's do this. Before we bring Drew in, we're going to take another commercial break.
Yeah, because we got some construction. We got some heavy construction
they're
about to
getting ready to
happen
do it right
around
next
this,
to us. So we're going to go ahead and let them do that, and then we'll come back, talk to Drew about the Morehouse game that's coming up and some other things. We'll be back right here on the BCSN Game Time Show.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. 2 powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BCSN Game Time Show, live from that very same Orange Blossom Classic, Hard Rock Stadium, the Miami Dolphins home. Hopefully, you know what? I don't even want to talk about it.
Don't do it.
We're going to leave that alone. I don't even want to talk about my Dolphins right now.
Don't do it to yourself.
Because I will say something, and Brian can back me up on this. This is the one conversation we're going to have about the Dolphins. When we drafted Tua, was I or was I not pissed and said we better not draft him because he is going to be injured every year when we get to the playoffs?
You are correct, sir.
I wanted us to get Jalen Hurts.
I didn't think he was that good. He was a great college quarterback.
No, he was hurt in college.
Yes. He threw 2 routes. He had a fly route and a slant because he had the fastest guys in the game, and they have 220-pound running backs. So I don't know why I grew up Mercury, Mars, Bob, Greasy, everyone. And I was surprised that they invested so much in
That's
there.
fine. Go to yours. That's why we have yours up. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring Drew in. We're going to open this one up. So let's go ahead and get Drew in and have some of that conversation with him. And we'll see.
Now,
there we go. We can hear you better, although your picture's not. Oh, there's the picture. There he's showing up. John, go ahead and let's pull this one up next.
Hey, Drew in the house. What's good, Drew?
How you feeling?
Hey, it was good. Up here in Boston, Massachusetts, to play this historical matchup between Morehouse College and Johnson C. Smith University. Fellas, I don't know if you know, but this is the first time that two HBCUs have faced off in the city of Boston since 1971, when Howard played the University of Maryland at Eastern Shore.
Wow.
Okay. Well, Mr. Sports Media Director, how about you give us some notes and stuff on this, and let's have a conversation about your game. What are we looking at for these Maroon Tigers?
Well, first of all, we're looking at a historic season. This is the 125th season for Maroon Tigers football, with the Maroon Tigers football program starting in 1900. Subtract out the year of COVID in 2020, thus making this the 125th season instead of last year, which was the 125th anniversary. Coach Terrence Mathis comes into his second year with a whole new crop of guys. This is not your Morehouse of the last 5 years. I will attest to that right now.
All right.
Nice. And this is a tough matchup for Morehouse because you're going up against Johnson C. Smith, a team that last year was probably one of the best stories of the HBCU football season that sort of fell off the cliff at the end. I mean, they were running an 8-0 record, and then all of a sudden lost the last 2 games of the season, ended up losing and missing out on a chance to go to the CIAA championship. So that's a team that's coming in on a mission with determination. And so I think this sets up for a great matchup for both teams.
And if you remember, Brian, last year, Johnson C. Smith's start came against Morehouse in the opening game last year, in which they defeated Morehouse 37-13 at BT Harvey Stadium before they fell off at the end due to injuries and a few other things those last couple games. Here you go, though, fellas. Morehouse owns the all-time series against Johnson C. Smith with an 8-3-1 record all time, dating back to 1921, when Morehouse defeated Biddle College 41-0.
It's amazing that these schools have only played now. This will be the 13th time. You would think two programs which have been around for over a century.
I mean, Johnson C is one of the original 2 programs, right? And you're playing in the oldest stadium in America today, so against another program that's been around for 125 years.
Yeah, it is shocking, and only 12 times, but I'm glad that these two teams will get a chance, and I'm always a big proponent of CIAA versus SIAC matchups. I think we need more of them. So the fact that you're getting that to open the season, hey, let's go. I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to it. You got a good one on your hands.
And you got 4 of them this weekend. So we're gonna see if the SIAC can correct the matchup from last year, in which the CIAA went 6-0 against the SIAC last year. So we definitely need some market correction for our conference.
Hey, I'm telling you, this could be Morehouse could get it started off right. Those other 3 games, well, you said there's a total of 4. Those other 3 games off the top of my head, I'm trying to recall, but
we're going to do that later.
Okay, Roy, see,
we're going to do that a little bit later, Drew. I don't know if you'll be able to come back and hang around. No, I'm not going to let him do it. Listen, we have a schedule, folks. We're going to keep to the schedule. Right, we adjust some of the stuff. We got folks from the crew coming in. Also want to shout Drew out for being a member of the BCSN Sports Rap, folks. The longest running HBCU podcast in the country started in 1998.
Wow. Okay. Yes, started in 98.
We started in 98. Don't forget
this is season number 9 with Drew and I.
With you and Drew. Yep. So we had that.
Just think Drew was behind the scenes a lot. Now he's talent.
Well, Drew's always been talented. You can't listen.
He's talented.
Ron,
That's multi-talented.
Ron, you can't even offer a microphone and a camera to Drew and not get it. Yep, I'm there. We
Yes. He is the man now.
Listen, folks, we're going to do this while we get ready to go through a couple of changes and stuff. We're going to listen to another interview with from the Majority Greek situation. If you were at the beginning of the show, you saw Barbara Scotia College is on the comeback. Another one of the schools in North Carolina, the state with the most HBCUs. But the president, Chris Ray, former immediate past president of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, is now the president at Barbara Scotia, and the brother is working to do his thing. First year in over 20 years that they actually have students on campus. Wow. But we're going to listen to a video with him in an interview with our guys from Majority Greek Magazine, Antoine Dwayne Jones, talking about what they've got going on. Drew, we'll get back with you in a little bit. Folks, we'll be back after this interview.
So
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Cover's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Cover's Voice, Cover's Voice, CoversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. 2 powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy, unmatched. The culture, undeniable. The vibes, straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
BCSN Game Time right here live from FanFest outside of the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. The Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic kicking off at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. You can watch it right on ESPNU. Brian joining the show now, representing the ONG Strike Zone, Kelvin Rozier, and, of course, Ron Mitchell. Ron will be with me in the booth doing the audio broadcast of the game. So while we're working on getting the video of the Barbara Scotia interview set up, I figured we'd get a chance, bring Kelvin in and kind of talk about the opening day of the HBCU football season on Thursday. You know, we already talked about Virginia State's big win. We talked about that debut of Andrew Body, but we had some other big debuts, much talked about debuts, and then we had a big shocker. So I figure we talk with the good news and go with the debut. The debut of Deshaun Jackson up at Delaware State versus Delaware, and Mike Vick at Norfolk State against Towson. Now, Norfolk State, we'll start there. That game broadcast, both games are on ESPN Plus. Norfolk State was about a 9.5-point underdog at home. There was just under 20,000 people, but it's the second largest. I think it may be, and I forget. I know Stephen Gaither had shouted it out to me earlier. I think it was either the most attended non-homecoming game, because homecoming is going to pack. Right, big. They almost have 30,000. Yes. They have 30,000 in Dick Price Stadium there in Norfolk. So this one just coming in 19,000 was the largest non-homecoming crowd, I believe. Or maybe the second largest, because I think when they opened up the stadium and debuted, that was probably the largest. So let's say this is the second largest. Tough loss there for Norfolk State as they end up losing that contest 27-7. They really weren't ever in that contest. I mean, for a brief moment, they had cut the game to a 13-7 game, I believe, but they really weren't ever in that contest. Fourth quarter, as Towson would go ahead and score 2 touchdowns to kind of really separate. What were your impressions of that debut by Mike Vick in Norfolk State, Kelvin? And then we'll go to Ron. You kind of jump in there with your thoughts.
It was pretty much what I expected, to be honest. I know this is Mike Vick, and the name is big, and that's why you had 19,000 people there. That's why you had the First Take crew there earlier in the day.
That's right.
All that was good. That was great exposure. But when you get in between those lines for those 3 hours, that don't matter. The players you have, the coaches, the experience, all that, the talent, all that works together. And so it's going to take some time for Mike to, get everything he needs and to learn what he needs. So, I mean, the score was closer than what the game actually was, to be honest, because they struggled so much moving the ball offensively. And that's really what I expected, and that's the way the rest of the season gonna look. If they can pull off 4 to 5 wins, to me is a good season for Vic in year one.
All right, Ron, your thoughts on what the debut of Mike Vick in this world of college football means, and just your impressions.
I give him 2 years where you'll see a significant change in the program, and like you say, First Take, you got Cam Newton on campus. You got all the smoke you want and the attention. That still won't change your talent level in the locker room. I don't care. Jordan can sponsor you. You won't jump like Jordan. But you work with what you have. And really, we have to be honest. It takes these first 3 weeks for these coaches to find, before we go, quote, unquote, an identity of your team. You got to look at who's going to go down. Somebody's going to step up. You might lose a guard. He's the most important person, but he's not a household name. He can be very instrumental making these play calls, keeping your quarterback up, making the adjustments. So it takes a little time for that rhythm to start to develop. It's like don't hit your grandmother, all season now. Now the tards are off, it's live football. Your quarterback is going to get hit. Now you're going to see, can he take a hit and throw the ball on the next down, or if he takes a hit and you got to run the ball. Now, when you have that type of stuff, defensive coordinators know how to tee off on you at that point. So we'll find a little identity. Mike Vick being there, they're going to coach him up. They're going to get a little – they're going to be a lot of people coming in giving speeches.
Yeah.
They're going to get all the speeches.
A lot of special guests.
A lot of special guests going to hit the locker room. The music level is going to increase. The food is going to get a little better.
Okay.
But it still takes a little time.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You can be sponsored by Jordan, but you may not improve your jumping
like Jordan.
Hey, that's great. Yes. And again, next week, Virginia State, Norfolk State. Wow. I mean, that it doesn't get any bigger than that right off the bat.
Not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast. Shout out to the great Lee Corso doing his last show on College Game Day today. And then the other debut in the MEAC, Deshaun Jackson, Delaware State, an in-state game, Delaware State versus Delaware. Now, if you paid attention to this history between these two teams, right, I saw it was a 27-point spread. But these games have not been blowouts, even before Deshaun Jackson. I mean, Delaware, and whether that's because, Delaware is like, hey, we don't want to embarrass the – and once a time, Delaware was FCS. So now Delaware is making the transition to FBS. This is the first year for them doing that. But they've had a good program. Delaware State has struggled over some years, and but the games have never been big 30-point blowouts. So if you back Deshaun Jackson in game one, congratulations, right? But This was actually a game in which at halftime Delaware trailed 14-3, and at one point it was a 4-point game, 14-10. 14-10 before Delaware found back-to-back touchdowns, one of those coming on an interception, a pick six, and that was kind of about all she wrote after that. How do we evaluate Deshaun Jackson and Delaware State debut, who I thought of the two, I thought their debut was way better and more impressive than Mike Vick and Norfolk State's?
So I agree with you, Brian. And you have to remember Delaware is transitioning. So Delaware has a little bit more resources and talent. So they transitioned from the conference they was in, and they transitioned it up to FBS.
Right.
So that hill is a little steeper in trying to compete with them now because they have more resources. However, I thought Deshaun Jackson and Delaware State showed a lot of fight, and I thought he was a little bit better prepared for this opportunity because unlike Vic, he had actually done some coaching on some staffs. His mom is a HBCU grad, so he has some understanding of HBCU campus and resources. And when he was announced, you saw what he was doing from a recruiting standpoint. He brought in some really skilled, high-level skill players, right? He still's got to get the depth he needs on a line. And he also brought in my opinion, some really experienced coaches. So all that together against transitioning FBS team in-state rival, they showed themselves to be legitimate, right? And the MEAC needs to pay attention. You don't expect you to just
you don't expect much from either team, but
don't look at the Hornets and DSU and Marker W just yet.
Okay.
You better bring your lunch pail.
Ron, any difference between a quarterback, and I know we got to go to break here, so any difference between a wide receiver of Deshaun Jackson's ilk stepping into this role versus Mike Vick, a quarterback stepping into this?
I think both are in the same category because they, even though they sit in different quarterback room versus the wide receiver room, you have to know your position and your talent level. I say compress everything and get them familiar with repetition. Don't come in with your skill set. It's kind of like watching these grown men coach Pee-wee football. They come in with the 40-year-old guy philosophy to teach us 8-year-old, and the kid can barely remember the 2-hole from the 3-hole, you know? So don't overcomplicate things with then you have to pick up the language. What are you going to bring in? Because, play calling. Find out your talent level, and then you got to find a quarterback. Can he get the information out? A lot of times we hear that stigma. He's not smart or he's not that right. He's just an athlete. Well, you got to simplify things so my team's skill set is able to get out on the field and we execute. It's all about execution.
Gotcha.
Luck will come in. Guy throws a pick six. That's 5 minutes of an offensive drive that they don't have to worry about because you gave them a free 6.
Right.
So, or an 8-minute drive. A lot of quarterbacks can't get 3 consecutive first downs. All of a sudden, are you trying to go for the home run ball, or we just want to work our little counter plays and see where we are? Set up the dominoes one by one before we go at the big one. So I think, like you say, talent level, Dale State, even though it's Delaware, we're not going to say they got a high talent level in Delaware, but they sit there and they play within the box. I say stay within the scheme and good things happen.
Okay. Next week, Delaware State, the home opener against Albany, 1 o'clock on Saturday. So good opportunity to get a win. When we come back after this break, Dr. Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab will be, I believe we'll have a segment of Dr. Bill actually joining us on the BCSN Game Time. So we'll talk to the dean of HBCU Sports right on the other side. You're watching the BCSN Game Time show live from FanFest outside of the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens right before the Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. We'll be back in a moment.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BCSN Game Time Show. We are live here from the Hard Rock Stadium for the Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. And right now, we are about to be joined by the Dean himself, the Dean of HBCU Sports. Dr. Kenyatta Cavill is joining the mix. Doc, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling well, ready to get started. Football has started. You know, we got to do a little cheat code last week with the Cricket and the X Factor Challenge kickoff, but we're in full blast this weekend, particularly on Saturday after we got a little tease yesterday as well as Thursday. So I'm ready to go. Big game, big game.
Well, most definitely. And with that being said, what we're going to do is pull up the SWAC slate for this week, and let's talk some SWAC football and some of the things that have gone on. Brian has been itching to get into this one all day since it's at the top of the list. We will start with the game that the Alcorn Braves had versus the Demons. The Demons.
Yeah, they were a demon. They were a demon to the Braves is what they were. I mean, talk about needing to exercise some demons. I mean, the rest of the season is going to be hell for Alcorn State. Doc, I know it's early to start panicking, but boy, listening to Brave Nation last night and yesterday, woo, they are fit to be tied after losing 20-10 to a team that was on a 20-game losing streak.
Well, actually, we're having.
Well, on Sunday mornings we push out our poll rankings, and we'll start it off tomorrow morning, getting going early in the morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. There's a segment where we ask Charles about who's on the ledge. So last week, we did a little teaser, and we asked about Southern on the ledge. And he was saying it was too early to put somebody on the ledge. Mike came back and said, oh, yeah, they on the ledge. Well, I think we can all pretty much agree that the Brave Nation, they are all on the ledge. That was I don't know how you get around it. That was a bad loss. And it started off with the fact that you gave up 13 points in the first quarter, if you will. You did kind of push back, but then you gave them a late score. So you didn't start well, you didn't end well. So a lot of things are open. And it's not so much that you lost a road game, but it's who you lost to, Northwestern State, who wasn't looking to, have a win this season, and they come out the box and get it against the Braves. So, yeah, there's some consternation. To your point, it is just one game. So you like to see what you can do
pushing forward. But yeah, there's some people on the list.
I asked real quick. I just want to paraphrase. I'm not going to say who I got this from, but I asked, was last night's loss on a scale of FAMU's loss to Mississippi Valley, which some people have said is one of the worst losses in the SWAC, and the reply was, I would say it was worse.
I would
3
agree.
years they hadn't won a game. Program was shut down 2 years ago.
I would agree. Yeah, I'd agree. It's a worse loss. There's something about conference play. In terms of conference play, you always have a chance to beat somebody who's familiar with each other.
Yeah, go ahead and bring him in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just saying, I'd have to agree. That's certainly a worse loss for me.
Yeah.
All right, and it looks like we have one of the other professors from the lab joining us, Mr. Charles Bishop in the house. Charles, how you feeling today, sir?
I'm doing well. Good to see you guys.
All right, man.
Also, to give you some insight, he likes to. It's probably why he decided to join, because he heard us talking about the Braves. Jackson State is in this mode where they trolling quite a bit team, so he might have a voice in terms of his thoughts on Braves losing to Northwestern State, the Demons.
The SWAC West, Charles. The SWAC West is letting the conference down, man. They're not holding their water.
Yeah, they let go of the rope pretty bad last night. That was a bad loss for Alcorn, especially when you take a look at. I don't know. I really had some problems with the play call. They threw the ball 40 some odd times, and they got a preseason all SWAC running back. I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah.
All righty.
Well, they couldn't run early, so sometimes you get away, and then they did get down early. So sometimes you get ahead of your skis, and I think it'll work out. I do understand, when you look at the overall scheme, 40 passes is way too much for them. But sometimes the game kind of creates a framework where you get going there. But they had a drive late in that game. As it looked like they will get some momentum, and then it was ultimately turned over. I mean, it was an interception, to your point, maybe throwing the ball too much, but that didn't help either.
All right. Well, we've already talked about the Alabama State game versus the Blazers and the performance that Andrew Body had, but we definitely want to give you gentlemen the opportunity to talk about that and see if you have any comments about what Mr. Body was able to do.
I think he laid the gauntlet down. That was a huge statement with regards to Alabama State not ceding ground to Jackson State or Florida A&M in the SWAC East. Yeoman performance from Andrew Body. You talk about an individual that, when healthy, he could put a team on his back. So I give him all credit in terms of what he was able to do in Alabama State. Man, if they just could have held the rope a little bit longer, I think they would have been in great shape for the upset. But, a statement made, and I think, it turned heads all over, not just the SWAC, but all over HBCU ball.
I think that was a weird game there in a lot of ways, because we have some expectation that Body performs pretty well. Some people may not think he's consistent enough, but I think the big question with everybody, regardless, is the fact that he's injury prone. So it shouldn't surprise anybody in terms of what they were able to do offensively. For the most part, people can kind of see that. Now, you might question a little bit playing up FBS. Could they be that proficient? But once he gets going, we know the skill set that he brings to the table. But the question comes is can he stay injury-free? So I think that's where a lot of your momentum, and some people want to get excited, but, are hesitant about getting excited. Anytime you get a chance to be in a game where you can get an FBS win, you hate to see that you can't conclude on it. And that turnover he had, which he does every once in a while, as great as he had with many plays, it's hard to do that to a young person because you're talking about being perfect. But in that particular game, it really created a momentum shift and allowed UAPB to play from a different comfort level when he had the fumble and they actually scored and went back up after they took an 11-point lead. It gave a great deal of momentum to the Blazers to go up in a comfortable stand. And then on that last drive, you had at third down where they get the big run. you let a lot of gas out, and you're like, oh, we got to find a way. Great blocks. You got to acknowledge that. You have a little question maybe from some people on what they call the third down, where they got the pass interference, where they would have to kick the field goal. You're still in some decent chances. So it just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I know a lot of folks, HBCU fans that were hearing about it, end up turning it on, so they got to see it. And so you certainly got to keep your left eye on the Hornets now.
All right. Folks, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to kind of go through this next set. These are the games that are going to be happening today. So we're kind of do a little rapid fire. I'm going to start with those that are not including the HBCUs playing HBCUs. So that's why we're going through those quick. And then we're going to come back and go through the other one. Charles, that means I'm not holding your game to the end because it's Jackson State, just because they're playing another HBCU. With that being said, we've got the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M going up against the Razorbacks of Arkansas. Brian?
Can they keep it within 7 touchdowns?
Oh,
that's all I got.
Oh.
Charles?
Yeah, I'll keep it within 5 touchdowns. Let me draw it back a little bit.
All right. Kelvin?
You know them sorry Mets lost.
Doc, you got anything you want to say about that game?
Man, I feel bad if I don't go with the team. They're like, yes, no. We'll leave it at that. Not much to say.
All right. Next, we've got the Golden Lions of Arkansas Pine Bluff going up against the Texas Tech Raiders.
Did I say 7 touchdowns in the last segment? How about 9 touchdowns? Can they keep it within 9 touchdowns? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, UAPB's DB is going to get a lot of cardio today.
They're going to get some work today. They're going to get that work today, boy.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this matchup because Texas Tech has spent a lot of money. You know, they have a backing, and so they're trying to get into the big game with the, what I call the Super Two, which is the Big Ten and the SEC. They at least trying to financially play at that level, and they're recruiting with them. For folks that may not pay that much attention that follow us in regards to those Power Four. This is one of the teams out there, so I think they're going to try to impress. What they paid for in terms of NIL money. So I think this game, to your points of what you're saying, can quickly get out of hand. And it can get really ugly. And I'm not sure if they're going to kind of back the dogs off because they want to show everybody in regards to the talent that they procured. So I'm a little nervous about this game, frankly.
All right. Next up.
Hold on. I'm just looking at something. The ESPN matchup predictor, fellas, says UAPB has a 1% chance. I think that's way too high. I don't understand. That's impressive.
Yeah, and, I think that's because the calculation doesn't allow you to
night.
It's default. It's a default 1%. Okay, so what that means is there's always a chance. I don't know. I will tell you though, free tip here, pro tip, the over-under is 62.5. Run to the table. Texas Tech may put 70 by themselves. So run to your nearest wherever you go and get on that quickly before it goes up.
All right. One game that I forgot from yesterday, the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman right down here in South Florida had an opportunity to face the Florida International Panthers. Our guy, Willie Simmons.
He don't lose to Bethune. He don't lose to Bethune.
He don't lose to Bethune. That's
he don't lose to Bethune. Not with his quarterback. He don't lose to Bethune.
All right. So now let's jump into some of the games that we've got coming up. Let's start with the Labor Day Classic happening there in Texas. The Prairie View Panthers versus the Tigers of Texas Southern. Doc, we're going to let you lead this one off.
Before we get into the Panthers and the Tigers, I got to say the Wildcats, they did score first, so they actually were up 3-0 in that game. And then,
okay.
It's called it. Since they got the ball first and they scored first. That's impressive.
Right. Hey. You're the Wildcats, you got to make it work. You got to
got to look for a positive.
FBS team, so you did what you needed to do. When you had a chance, you scored early. Just not enough. In terms of the Labor Day Classic, this is fascinating from the standpoints that the coaches really do not like each other for various reasons.
No, really?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of played out for everybody to see. Oftentimes that stuff stays behind the scene. We hadn't seen that kind of talkity talk, if you would, in the SWAC, or at that time it was probably SWAC MEAC between Southern and FAMU back in the day. Y'all will relate to that in terms of those days when that happened. But this is within the conference, and so it's fascinating and a lot of interest. People came in with some interest in this game, thinking both teams had a chance to make a statement. They would like to believe that they're going to be in the race for the Western Division. Well, this is an early indication, particularly after what we've seen from Southern. Now, many people say they'll get it right, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that game after this or before we get out of here, which is also a fascinating one. But getting back to the Panthers and Tigers, this game is going to be intriguing in terms of who can put their will, because the coaches have talked about their will. So which of these teams will take the message from the coach and be able to really push their will on the other? And I will say this. If there is a late opportunity to score, regardless of where the game is, even if the team hasn't won or not, you know that they're not going to take a knee. They're going to go for the jugular. And so that is just going to continue some of the talk and the pain for the other folks that do not come out on the right side if that happens.
All right, Dean, let's do this. We need to keep these a little bit more concise. We're going to do something. We actually got Sly, the sports guy, that's going to join us in a little bit. He's going to actually be talking to us about a couple of games going on over with the D2 schools over in Alabama, special classic that they've got set up for that. But let's move on to you in this game. What do you have anything to say about Texas Southern, Brian?
I just my only plea all week was I needed Doc to come in and come in and be like, the Bloods and the Crips, and I need somebody to come in and mediate. I was hoping Doc would come in and mediate this thing because I wasn't sure what was going on. I was like,
I tried to mediate behind the scenes. It didn't work.
I know you did. I know you did, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you. But I was like, what is going on? This hadn't felt not since we had Robinson and Coach Prime with the I'm swag, he ain't swag, that whole thing. Yep. I haven't seen.
I am here for it. I don't no mediation, nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
The only mediation I want to see is within 3 hours when they're on that football field, brother. I want somebody to either get blown out or to be a classic. But we have a rivalry now.
Oh, it's a rivalry.
If it wasn't a rivalry
if it wasn't a rivalry before, it's certainly a rivalry now.
It's a rivalry
Coaches
now.
made that. And for those, quickly, I know we got to keep moving. For those that may not realize, we talked about Bubba and McDowell, former coach of Prairie View, and Chris Dishman, how they played together in Houston Oilers. But people may not realize how close they were. And so that's kind of what started this off. Dishman was did not feel good about the fact that Bubba got fired. He didn't think it was right. That's kind of
okay. Good to know where it comes from, where it starts.
Where the seed starts. We're going to move on to the next game. The Lions of Langston University are taking on the Tigers of Grambling State. What do we see, fellas?
I don't know. I mean, Langston. We always used to talk about Langston as being that D2 NAIA level mid-major, Doc, as you called it on your poll. And then we didn't hear much about them last season. So they've had a history of being competitive against SWAC opponents. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what Langston has in store. I don't think we know anything. I think Grambling is the school I think we know least about among all 12 SWAC schools. I have no idea what Grambling is coming to the table with. So good luck.
If I'm honest there, Langston, Grambling, we'll see if something shakes out when they play the game. But right now, it's
Charles? Yeah, I mean, as we talked about, I think the SWAC West is wide open. So it's a huge opportunity for Grambling to go out there and put something out there that makes the fan base feel good about the team again. So I need to see Grambling not just win, but they need to win big in this.
All right. Doc, you got anything you want to mention?
Yeah, I would say this. I don't think this does anything for Grambling. They win big, people are going to do like Kelvin and say, yeah. If they lose, then everybody's eyes will be wide open. The problem you have, you don't know what's coming in with Langston. And like you said, several years ago, Langston was in our top 7 and would push for the 1, 2, even number 1 spot one year in terms of what they did. But 2 years ago, they had an awful season. They kind of rebounded a little bit last year, but it wasn't anything to their expectation what they have done the last 5 years. So I'm intrigued to see Can they get it back to the days where they were pushing for an NEIA playoff spot versus just being in the middle of the road in the conference? When they do that, they have the chance where we've seen them play Pine Bluff, play even Southern really well, where you at least had some intrigue about a key turnover or something could be the difference in the game. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case this year, but I have a little eye on to see what that looks like.
All right, next up, the Southern Jaguars versus the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State. Brian?
Everybody has a chance. Valley has told us everybody has a chance, and I don't know. Everyone thinks Southern is just going to turn it around. Okay. I won't be. Look, I will not be shocked if Valley does win. That's all I'm going to say about that game.
Doc?
Yeah, I was surprised I'm glad to see you ended it with that, because this has much more of interest for me. Because we just don't know where Delta Devils is. We always, when they have a new coach, always, at least at the beginning of the year, we always question, is this the year that they can take at least a modicum of the next step? We know Southern Jaguars have some issues. The question is, how fast can they fix them, and are they fixable? Most people like to think they're fixable, but sometimes it's hard when you can't stop the run. What are you going to do to get in that? Was that just a mentality? Was North Carolina Central just that good, or was it really showing the weaknesses of Southern? We know what Delta Devils is going to do this week. They're going to try to run the ball. The question is, will they be successful? And that's what I want to see.
All right. Charles, did you have anything special you wanted to say about this one? Because if not, I was just going to go ahead and jump into the Pirates of Hampton University traveling to Jackson, Mississippi.
Well, I mean, real quick with regards to Valley and Southern, all my Valley people have already texted me this morning, chalking up the W. So, like Doc said, they're going to run the football, and we're going to see can Southern stop the run today.
Wow. Valley, you're bold already, huh?
Let's talk about I had to do that for Mike, because Mike has been showing up and stuff. So I had to throw that Valley in there for Mike, y'all.
Hey, by the way,
we caught up with Mike yesterday, so yeah, he's headed to the big game today.
So if Terrell Buckley, all that he's been talking really tough, we'll see. Southern, I think, got better talent, but I'm worried.
Okay.
I'm worried.
Does Southern have the better talent?
Yes.
All right, I'm just asking. I don't know.
Charles, lead us with the Southern with the Hampton Pirates visiting Jackson, Mississippi.
Very, very cautious about this game. When you take a look at Hampton, they're a heck of a ball team. Talk about running back Jaquan Snipes, and a very, very good defense. Defense that was in the upper echelon of the CAA last season. One of the things that I'm really looking at today is can Jackson State get that running game up and going? No Irv Mulligan, but they tell everybody they have a crowded backfield. So it'll be very interesting to see can Jackson State get an offense up and going early. If they get up and going early, I think it'll be a long day for Hampton, but I'm cautious in this one.
All right, let's do this real quick. Is Sly still on the screen? Let's go ahead. Let's hold off on his last comments. Bring Sly in. He's got a pregame meeting he needs to get to. I want to get him in here really quick before he has to go. Our man, we were kind of moving around with some stuff. Had some things going. Sly, how you doing?
Hey, I am doing great, man. I'm doing great. Hey, as a matter of fact, I'm here at the Old Gray Lady.
Tilt your camera. You're sideways.
You're sideways.
Okay, my bad.
Sideways.
There we go.
Talking at the side of your neck, baby.
Man, I'm here in Birmingham, man, at the Old Green Lady. We're calling a game. It should be the Week 0 Labor Day Classic. It's a double header, man. A double header to kick things off. Fort Valley State taking.
Don't let Brian hear you say that he has this thing in that D2 and Week 0.
Thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for acknowledging that, because I was going to say it's Week 1, but go ahead.
I call it with whatever the people paying me to call it.
There you go, educated.
I call it a check. But yeah, it's Fort Valley State taking on West Alabama, and then the league game, the first game will be Clark, Atlanta, taking on defending national runner-up Valdosta State. But I'm gonna be honest with you, fellas, man. I'm sitting down. They have a little league game going on right now before the game, and I think it's 10 and under. And man, hey, the future is bright looking at these 10-year.
They recruiting early, boy. That's how you recruit early. Get the Pop Warner kids on campus, huh?
Checking notes right now, trying to figure. They got a quarterback throwing the ball around, man. I can use him at a couple of different schools out there.
Sly, let's do this for us, man. Really quick, what I'd like you to do, we're not even going to worry about the opponents. First off, tell us, what do you see that Clark Atlanta has to do this year to be successful?
Well, Clark Atlanta has to replace David Wright. Now, David Wright, prolific passer, he's broken all type of passing records at two different schools, at Clark Atlanta and Allen. But here's the thing, he's broken the interception record at two different schools. So now they have to find a quarterback. They have to find a quarterback who can throw like David, but make better decisions than David made. Now, they have Zy McDonald. He'll be the starting quarterback, transfer out of Jackson State. Young man was a three-star quarterback in high school, but he couldn't quite get over the hump in college to become the starter. And he had an impressive second half of the Celebration Bowl. He filled in for Andrew Clayton and kind of helped Jackson State win the Celebration Bowl. But now it'll be his first time as the lead guy. You know, the backup quarterback is always the most popular person on the team. So now he gets to be the lead guy, and we'll figure out what he can do. And everything, quite honestly, is going to kind of rest on his shoulders. We'll figure out what type of team Clark Atlanta is based off of what type of quarterback he is.
All right. What about the Wildcats of Fort Valley State?
I have no idea about the Wildcats.
Honest. I love the honesty.
I said this on our pregame. We did a preseason show. Jamie Walker and Simone Stanley and I. We did a preseason preview show, and I had notes for everybody. But when it came time for Fort Valley, I held up the blank sheet of paper and said, "I got no idea." Coach Gibbs left. He took everything except the paint on the field. Everything's gone from Fort Valley. And here's the funny thing: coaches do watch these shows, because I was at the press conference yesterday, and Coach Watson walked up to me and said, "I like it, but you don't know what I got. I don't want anybody to know what I got, but I got something." That's what he said.
Good stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, but yeah, it should be real interesting with it's all quarterback Kelvin Durham. They're losing Marshall. The running back is another all SIAC performer. They've lost so much on the defense. But here's the thing: Coach Washington's a coach places. He's no coach Elizabeth City State also. So D2 model, and he went and hit that transfer portal hard, and he picked up a couple of D1 transfers. So now we want to see how that equates on the field. I got to watch them in the walkthrough. I got to watch them in their walkthrough yesterday, and they seem pretty big. Nobody had on shoulder pads, and they seem, you guys do a lot of D1 ball, and I do a lot of D2 ball, and you can tell the difference when it comes to those that comes to the trenches. It comes to those guys up front. And Fort Valley, they did look big. Now, I don't know. I've seen some teams that look like Tarzan and run like Jane. We're going to find out. We're going to find out about Fort Valley. Quick passing in a hurry.
All right, folks, there he is. Sly, the sports guy, going to be live for you. Sly, tell the folks where they can watch your games at today.
They can watch me. It's going to be on Urban Edge Network. It's a free watch if you want to check us out. The first game start at 12:15 Eastern. I'm sorry, 1:15 Eastern, 12:15 Central. Games will be, that's Clark Atlanta versus Valdosta State. And then at 4 o'clock, you'll have West Alabama taking on Fort Valley State in the week zero Labor Day Classic. I know the reps.
All right,
Educate the people, Sly.
Thanks, man. We'll catch up with you later on in the week. Guys, we're going to get back to our conversation. Sly has a meeting to get to, so we want to get him in. Thanks for taking the time. Now, Charles, we're going to come back to you. We're going to jump in here, man. Talk to us about these Jackson State Tigers with these Hampton Pirates coming in. What are we looking for?
I'm looking for Travis Terrell. I'm looking for a special teams play today that I think can really kind of turn momentum. You talk about a guy, whether he's returning kickoffs or returning punts, he's a game changer. He's a playmaker, and somebody that Jackson State has to figure out how to get the ball in his hands as much as they can today. I'm particularly paying attention to Jackson State's running game now with no Irv Mulligan. what's going to happen with regards to the run game, because I thought that was the hammer that Jackson State brought to every game last season in terms of having a guy that can get you 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust and just keep pounding you as you get to the fourth quarter. So I think a lot of things will be on Jacoby Morgan's broad shoulders today, but we'll see what happens. I know they have a very excited about their wide receiver room, but it should be a great game today.
Charles, I got a question. What is that heat going to be like? I'm curious to know. Will those guys from Hampton, Virginia, where it's that coastal, Chesapeake Bay weather, how are they going to deal with that southern Mississippi heat at 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Well, I understand that a little bit of a cool front did come through Mississippi. So
advantage.
Hampton. That kind of levels off the advantage, but it's still Mississippi and Auburn. So it's just a little different than what they'll be feeling up there in up there in Hampton. But it should be one of those things. Like I said, I'm paying attention to Jackson State's running game because that was the secret to the sauce last year. They really wore down teams by the time they got to the fourth quarter.
Yes, they did.
All right, Brian, you have anything you want to say about this one?
No, look, you're the defending champs. 10 wins in a row. There should be no letdown. The defense should be fired up. The defense was, as good as Irv Mulligan and all those other great offensive pieces were, it was the defense that would shut people down in the second half. They had an amazing streak last season in the second halves. So that's something that I will be looking at and seeing what does Jackson State's defense look like, not just in the second half, but all game. It'll be a fascinating opportunity for the defending champs to show their mettle.
Now, I will go ahead and tell you guys this before Charles, hold on before you say anything. That is going to be the nicest that you will hear this gentleman talk about the Jackson State Tigers for a very long time.
I figured I had to jump on to wish my fellow SWAT compadres good luck today. I thought I'd be magnanimous about that. Hi, guys. How you doing? Strike. Let's strike again today, huh?
I was waiting for the jab, but, he didn't. We didn't say anything. We didn't get to that game. We're going to leave that to it, but let's do this to get you guys on there because we're going to go ahead and get this last one in, take a break, come back and close out with Ron because we got to get ready to go. Somebody told me to tell you to lay off their Hampton Pirates. We'll hold on to that. But for you, Doc, and you, Charles, last game to think about. The Invesco QQQ OBC, the Florida A&M Rattlers taking on the Bison of Howard University. Doc, what you got?
I'm going to go back to Jack State with the vet real quick. It's a hard place to play, particularly now when you have so much with the fans being excited, particularly with the national champs playing home. But I'm interested in the styles of play. Hampton has played well against HBCUs of late, but now they come in deep in the South, as you all alluded to. It'll be interesting to see how long they'll be able to stay in the game. With the big game, when you talk about QQQ, Florida, a classic down there, Orange Blossom Classic. I have to go with the Rattlers. I think the Rattlers are going to bounce back. There are some questions, and we'll get a chance to see how far they bounce back. Obviously, Howard is going to look to try to make a statement, but I don't think it's enough in regards to playing in a different type of atmosphere, particularly against a Rattler team that is going to be focused coming into the play.
All right, Charles?
I want to see Thad Franklin. I want to see the Florida A&M running game. And then I know a lot of questions, will be around a new starter back there with R.J. Johnson. But I really want to pay attention to this massive offensive line for Florida A&M and Thad Franklin. Can they wear Howard down, especially down there in Miami when you talk about this ball game?
All right, Kelvin?
I think everybody's looking to compare this team to what they saw last year. But I don't think this is last year's coach, and this is not last year's team. So I'm interested to see if it's going to look different. And also, do FAMU get off to a quick start? Last year, Achilles' heels was, getting off the slow starts. And under Willie Simmons' regime, we could do that, and then we will make the adjustment at halftime, and we'll put teams away. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of start this team gets off to. And, this game is only interesting if Howard keeps it close wins. If FAMU wins,
doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
All right, folks. What we're going to do, Brian, we're going to hold you and Rob.
Except for the VA fans, they're going to be on Howard's neck.
Rightfully so, probably.
We will have a pregame show starting at about 3:30 for this game. So you'll be able to hear what Ron and Brian have to think. Doc, Charles, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We already talked to the folks, letting them know that the BCSN Pod Zone was the #1 Black sports podcast collective in the country for Million Podcasts. What we were waiting to tell them is that Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is the #1 HBCU sports podcast in the country. And it's right here, a part of the team, y'all. Gentlemen, we thank you for coming on and enjoying it with us. What we're going to do, we're going to take us a quick break, come back and close out, let you guys get ready for the Carlos Brown Show. You are watching.
Guys, you know y'all on assignment down there. Y'all working, so don't have too much fun.
Right.
Thank you.
So we'll be back with more right here on the BCSN Game Time Show.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Get ready.
All right, well, we're back. How y'all guys doing? This is it.
Listen to the producer. Let the producer produce.
Right. We're doing things. I got it. That's exactly what I've been looking for, right? Somebody that can produce, and I don't have to sit here and walk him through. And John does exactly.
It's called Jerry Jones syndrome.
It's
called Jerry Jones
I am
syndrome.
not that bad.
Yes.
Not at all.
Yes.
No, sir.
Oh,
But listen,
get out of his way. Can't get out of his way.
We have enjoyed being back with you, man, guys. Listen, it has been fun. It's been some years, man, Ron, since we've had you on the set, man, and we're glad that you're going to be joining us throughout the season this year at some different locations. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Make sure you guys join us next week. We will be releasing the game time schedule, where we're going to be, and some of the things. Hopefully, we'll have a couple of other really exciting news tidbits to drop for you guys, as we like to do the teases. Hey, if you have a business, we're looking for sponsors. Shout out to Kenny Tees in Tallahassee that's coming on board. He came on board. Winters Industries doing some things. We got a couple other folks that we're going to be seeing some stuff with. But we're getting ready to go into the stadium, get ready for the game, and have a good afternoon. These guys with a great broadcast. Audio broadcast will be the pregame will be video up until game time, and at game time it will go to an audio broadcast, so you guys will be able to catch that, tune it in, watch it wherever you want to, but listen to us. That's how that works, and we do a good job at that. These two are great on the mic together, so you guys are in for a treat.
Tell a friend, bring a friend.
Tell a friend to bring a friend.
Order a
some
pizza.
Drinks.
Order a pizza and just sit back and let us do it.
Just let them handle the job. And, man, listen, guys, I'm excited. I'm ready for this year. I'm ready for the things that we've got coming up. And that's going to do it, folks. For Ja, for Kevin, for Brian, Ron, I am Roy. This is the BCSN Game Time Show for the entire BCSN family. Have a great football Saturday, and we will see you next week.